Wansu is a fairly basic kata, but it has a lot of good stuff in it. And the kind of core sequence of it, right, is here, here, some form of a shuto, here, stepping up to a cross stance, this Kosa-Dachi. And because of the Kosa-Dachi bringing your feet together underneath you, you can step in any direction. And that's something you should be exploring from Naihanchi as well, right? But in the kata, I step straight out from here. But I could just as easily shoot myself forward. I could just as easily shoot myself backward. I could just as easily go this way. I can just as easily spin. Kosa-Dachi is incredibly versatile when it comes to movement. And a lot of people really don't ever learn that. They are just like, okay, it's another stance to memorize. But it's a very versatile stance, and it's got a lot of sort of implicit applications. Mostly with regard to spinning when it comes to the implicit ones. So for me, if you've ever done grappling, I did judo for 4 years and then just blended it into Japanese jiu-jitsu and karate. You learn uchikomi, entry practice. Almost every throw, the uchikomi is that you're lifting and pulling your opponent as you step to Kosa-Dachi. So you're trying to load your opponent up on the balls of their feet, get yourself to Kosa-Dachi, because then you can spin to execute your throw. And so I see a lot of the Kosa-Dachi that you step to in kata as being placeholders for do a throw here. Have you ever seen Kosa-Dachi applied as grapevining? I have. My sensei did that. So what he's talking about there is Kosa-Dachi, rather than looking at it as something you are doing to yourself, using it as a reference for what you're doing to the opponent, right? In this case, we are snaking our leg around our leg. You can see that because you're touching part of yourself. One of the guidelines of Kata Bunkai is where you touch your body is where you're affecting the opponent's body. That's one interpretation, right? Well, if I step over like this, I'm touching my leg by wrapping my leg around it. If somebody comes up and gets you in a body lock from behind and wants to pick you up and suplex you backwards, they're going to have a hard time if you snake your leg around their leg or hook from the inside. And that's a technique called grapevining. That is something my late sensei was big on because, you know, while we taught various methods of getting out of those situations in the first place, sometimes you get picked up before you have a chance to do anything. And if you grapevine, it's at least harder for them to slam you without themselves also going to the ground. Another way that my sensei liked to use Kosa-Dachi was, again, looking at it as telling you what to do to the opponent. It was actually using it to hook their legs as part of off-balancing, right? So, for example, the opening of Pasai comes through and goes to Kosa-Dachi as you bring these hands up. Well, if you're grabbing a hold of somebody, you're grappling, you might shoot that leg forward and wrap it around the back of their leg so that you can off-balance and sweep them. And every now and then he would do some fun, just difficult, crazy stuff, which I have seen him pull off and others pull off, where Kosa-Dachi, that step up, he brought this up to check kicks. I have seen him succeed. I've felt him succeed because I've tried to kick him in the legs. And I've actually seen that happen in Muay Thai, which is funny. So, you know, lots of different ways to look at Kosa-Dachi.